Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. And today is Mage's birthday, and I was just informed it is also Jyuni's birthday. So, haven't seen too much of Jyuni around, but she did post a scary story for Halloween last week.
Happy birthday, Jyuni, in case you're out there.
Yeah, happy birthday.
In the side chat, I see Ox is with us already.
Greg Hartworth is.
And Greg Hartworth.
Yeah. Wanted to say thank you to Greg. He sent me a birthday present.
Yeah, Greg's always great about that.
I got a little USB vacuum here.
Cool. Were your USBs that dirty?
That sounds like it sucks.
Yeah, works good on the dust. You needed it to help clean up my bird's mess on my keyboard.
I would think a bird's mess on the keyboard would be a real problem.
Yeah, it can be. He eats his seed on the desk on the top desk, and he likes to knock the empty seeds into the keyboard.
What kind of bird?
A sun conure.
Oh.
Greg, if you go to your Amazon, you can get the link for the thing that you sent me. Show everybody. He's already took it off my list.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, my sister had 3 parakeets and used to just open up the cage and let them fly free around the house.
Oh,
They like to take showers under the faucet.
oh,
And mine likes to stick his head in the water bowl.
Yeah, they left kind of a mess on the windowsill because they were always perching on the curtain rod for the kitchen window.
Yeah, they can do that.
That was their favorite place because it was sunny.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I went up, got myself some coffee, and when I came back, I saw the package and at my front door there. That was a nice way to start my birthday.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you got something happy.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a package too. I wish it would show up. I need it so bad.
Well, what'd you get?
A heater blower motor for my car. It's getting kind of cold around here.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty necessary now just to keep your windshield clear.
Yeah, and it's foggy almost every morning here. Here in the Valley of Doom.
And just for fun, I had ice cream for lunch. Later today, a friend of mine took off from work from their second job so they can celebrate my birthday with me today.
That's
I'll
nice.
be up there this afternoon.
yeah, that's nice.
Well, I'm glad you got some plans with a friend for the day.
Yeah. We weren't able to get both jobs off since they're kind of backed up on the first one there, since because of the hurricane and all.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure what they got planned though. I mean, I'm guessing maybe pizza, but I mean, going out to eat someplace might not really work right now, considering how everything is up in the air with the destruction around here.
Yeah, I imagine. Just, finding out which places are open and which ones are under repair.
Yeah. A lot of places, like grocery stores and stuff, don't have much in supplies either.
Mm. Okay, and Kitty is wishing you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
But, yeah, she has just been saying that she has been so so much pain and so drained that she has not been feeling up to being social with anybody for a while here.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, completely.
she was helping her partner recover from surgery when the hurricane hit, so you can imagine
Yeah.
her being overwhelmed.
Yeah, and from what I understand, her area got hit pretty hard too.
Yeah, but she said she didn't lose power, so at least there was that.
Oh.
Yeah, Sloth Girl, after her chemo yesterday, decided to she wanted to get out and do some grocery shopping before the steroids wore off. So she was feeling hyped for a bit, and something I never expected I would ever hear from her was that things hadn't been people-y enough.
Hadn't been what?
Hadn't been people-y enough that she hadn't had a chance to be around people, because
Oh, okay, I get it.
yeah, just for the whole previous month, she'd pretty much been so worn out that she wasn't up to going anywhere, doing anything. So she got to drive the van for the first time. She
No,
needed to get a feel for the size of it before we take her trip next week.
that's good. Yeah, I had enough of my peopling in yesterday.
Personally, I do not advise peopling more than twice a year.
Thank
Peopling
you
is
for the
just
happy
too
birthdays in the chat.
Peopling sucks. I just wouldn't recommend peopling at all.
Okay, yeah, we've got Harmonica Man, Dick Dawson, and Doc Fearsome with us now.
Hi, kids.
Yeah, Harmonica Man posted a live concert that he was part of.
Oh, nice.
So everybody should go to his channel and check that out, especially if you have not heard his music before. I should make Jenny bigger just so we can see the scenery here.
Those
Which
are
bridge is that?
one's eastbound, one's westbound. Those are this is one of two places where you can cross the Mississippi and get into La Crosse, Wisconsin. It's amazing that there's only two. You'd think there'd be at least like 3 or 4.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
not so bad.
actually, those things are not that. Those situations are not that uncommon because bridges that size are quite expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I have this one up for sale right now. If you'd like, I can give you a particularly good deal since it is approaching Halloween. And as you buy it now, before Halloween, we'll give you a set of decorative skeletons to post all along the edges of the bridge. You know, with nooses on their neck or something.
Even the city of St. Paul, there's only 3 bridges that cross the Mississippi.
Yeah, but who wants to go into St. Paul?
Yeah, well, I remember when they were rebuilding the Wabasha Bridge, it was closed for 2 years. Yeah, it's like, I still don't get that. In World War II, the Army Corps of Engineers built a bridge across the Rhine River in 8 days while under constant enemy fire. So why does it take 2 years to rebuild a bridge in a city?
Because building a temporary military bridge is one thing. Building an actual long-term living bridge is quite a different thing.
Yeah, I know. And Actually, a lot of it has to do with waiting for the various inspectors to show up and write off the paperwork.
You know, I watched that new Hellraiser movie that released on Hulu. It's actually pretty good.
What's it about?
Hellraiser, you know? You don't know Hellraiser? Pinhead?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Pinhead.
you don't know that? Okay. Well, basically, there's this box that you mess around with. It opens a doorway to hell and releases these BDSM loving torture demons.
The puzzle box.
Yeah.
Puzzle box. Puzzle box.
And this is a remake of a 80s movie based on this book. And they made the Pinhead more androgynous in this one, in which some people are complaining about. But the thing about that is Pinhead in the book, the original version, was androgynous.
Yeah.
So it's
Totally
actually closer to
androgynous.
the original vision of the character.
They wanted Pinhead to be more associated with neither gender, so they made them kind of non-binary almost.
Yeah, that's actually how they were how the Cenobites were in the book. That's
Yeah.
what the demons are called, Cenobites.
Yeah, the Cenobites. Because it was one of the first non-binary representations in media. Well, in popular media, at least.
Yeah, well, anytime you have a character that's popular and then make some change to them, you're going to get a group of people protesting it.
Yeah.
No, I do understand where they're coming from with that. I mean, you know, I can get annoyed with that, but like I said, in this particular case, it's going back more to the how it was originally
Yeah.
conceived. So I don't think it really counts.
Yeah, just like how they changed Hermione and Harry Potter like tremendously from the original. Even though I don't like J.K. Rowling all that much, I still like Harry Potter. You can like the product and not like the author.
Yeah.
In fact,
The
I actually,
Hermione thing did bother me in the first movie.
Mm.
You know, because they made her too cute, and the thing about being, you know, plain or even a little homely and bucktooth actually were part of her character because it was the only thing she was insecure about.
yeah, it's something they changed later in the books as she worked her magic. Too. So they could have worked that into the story.
Yeah, well, that was
Yeah.
part of the story, that the thing of being bucktooth, she got fixed at the hospital wing as the result of an accident.
And really frizzy hair and freckles and all that.
But I mean, I did feel that was important to the character because, you know, she was so overconfident about everything else.
Yeah. That's why she was so overconfident about everything else, because that's all she had was her skills.
Well, I did finish the Harry Potter books while I had my power out, so I'm gonna be binge watching the movies at some point.
I actually never finished the last book.
Yeah, it took me a while to finish that last one.
Because I mean,
Well-
they changed pretty much every character to look, well, attractive.
Yeah.
Even Ron Weasley, they changed to make him look more attractive than in the book. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, and again, that was part of the character.
Yeah.
Well, that last book, I think there were a few things I would have done differently, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, see, the thing
I didn't
is,
understand what happened with the last book. Why did she suddenly drop the quest of finding the Horcruxes and gone on to these other things?
She didn't drop the quest. That was throughout the whole book.
the squirrel.
But they did do a few side adventures on a few chapters that probably didn't really amount to much, though.
Nobody else saw the squirrel? The squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yeah, that was a squirrel.
Squirrel?
On the screen. It ran into the brush. To the left.
Yeah,
My
they're begging,
ADHD kicking in.
they're begging for food this time of year.
Oh. And feed them. Get some bread or something. They'll eat bread, won't they? I think. I don't know.
I'd rather throw out a couple pumpkins and stuff.
Or seeds. Yes, pumpkin seeds. Throw out seeds.
Yeah, they love pumpkins, and the deer come by and eat pumpkin too.
Mm.
Did you hear
Our
about that?
building management company declared that it is a lease violation to feed the squirrels. They don't
What?
want to encourage them. They don't want to encourage them around the buildings.
What?
Why not?
That's bullshit. That's total bullshit. That's horseshit. Nope. Nope. That's total horseshit. Nope. I feed them fuckers
Well,
anyway.
apparently they were feeling we've had too many squirrels because over the summer they were live trapping some of them.
No.
Didn't really tell us what they did with them.
Bastards.
That probably means you have too many trees around the building.
Yeah.
Well, how are they? Never mind. I don't want to know.
Yeah. Well, we've got one black squirrel that lives in the tree right outside my window.
You should have
And
seen that
he
one.
likes to climb on the living room window screen to tease my cat.
You've seen the picture of the big fat squirrel, haven't you? God. That squirrel.
Yeah, there's some chubby ones on the internet. Some of them definitely. Yeah, squirrels and seagulls fall in that category of people just hate any creature who's been able to thrive in the environment we've created.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I don't like about squirrels is they have a tendency to dig up my potted plants.
Yeah, that can be bad. And they'll actually ferment fruit to keep it and make it into wine to drink it to get drunk.
Yeah, I actually call the end of November drunken squirrel season.
Yeah.
You know, after they've been eating all the pumpkins that were left fermenting outside from Halloween.
Yeah. No, they will literally leave fruit sitting around. They'll pick it up, leave it, hidden somewhere, and then come back and eat it later and get drunk off of it because it's been fermenting all month.
Yeah, well, up at my mom's place, I've watched the deer eat the ground full apples, and some of them start staggering around. Hey, Granny.
Animals are smarter than people realize.
Happy
Well,
birthday,
if you-
Mage.
Thank you.
If you call getting drunk, hey, animals like to get drunk too.
Well, hey, if your life is just struggling to survive every day, I can understand it once in a while.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Especially when you have bastards hunting you down like that. That really irritates me.
Who's trying to hunt you down?
I'm talking about animals.
Oh,
Like the deer.
Like the deer, the squirrels, the mice, bobcats, jaguars, panthers, alligators, crocodiles, things that live in swamps.
oh, rednecks.
Hey, I live in a swamp. Well, next to a swamp, but still.
I
Like
didn't say
literally,
everybody in a swamp was a redneck.
like literally, right, like I'd say around 100 meters away from me, there's a spot. There's a swamp. Not even 100. So, literally my backyard. Literally my front yard.
Yeah, I have to go about 3 or 4 blocks to hit a swamp.
I just have to walk across the street, honey.
I have to go to Florida.
Oh God. Don't remind me of Florida.
Well, in Minnesota, they've decided they can't actually build on the swamps, so they call them all parks. Oh,
Just rename them.
believe me, they've tried. The famously well-named Phelan Shopping Center.
Bailey.
They
Wow.
actually built on a wetland, and surprise, before they even finished construction, some of the foundations were sinking into the swamp.
Yeah.
But they built it anyway. The
Don't tell
building's
New
constantly flooded, and after about 15 years, they finally gave up, demolished it, and reverted it to a wetland park.
Don't tell that to New Orleans. Don't. They somehow managed. I just think they have better engineers in New Orleans.
No, they need to have better planners that realize they can't beat the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Well, Phelan Park wasn't actually on the river, but, you know, it was basically a lake that was fed from an underground river from the Mississippi.
Huh. Speaking of New Orleans, what happened to Old Orleans?
Hi, Jeff.
Oh yeah,
Hey, Jeff.
Old Orleans is
Hey,
yeah.
Jeff.
Oh yeah, Old Orleans is in France, isn't it?
I would
I
assume
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just Orleans.
I would assume
Or-
it's in France
Orleans.
because New Orleans is inhabited primarily by French.
French, yeah. Or
Yeah.
French. French and hillbillies and rednecks who have merged English and France together. France. Wow. French together.
I think it's just where France sent all the people that they didn't think were classy enough to live in France.
So it's like Prince's Australia then.
There you go. It's the Australia
Yeah.
for France. Yeah.
Yeah.
Australia, France.
Well, they tried there, and I think they tried sending people to Algeria and Vietnam as well, and it didn't work out very well. Those ones didn't really work out well for the French.
Yeah.
So New Orleans is just Prince's Australia. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Most
US
people don't.
New
The
Orleans.
U.S. needs an Australia.
Yeah, we have an Australia. It's called New Orleans.
Well, but again, the U.S. wasn't Australia. It was largely where England was dumping their undesirables to
Yeah.
start glassworks because they were running out of wood to burn.
Yeah. And also Australia was pretty much a penal colony for all the people who couldn't pay their taxes and all that kinds of stuff.
Eliminate taxes
Well,
for
you
US
could-
Australia.
You could get locked up for all sorts of ridiculous things, though, back then. So
Yeah. But
I mean,
Australia was usually
yeah.
Australia was usually for people who had debt though.
yeah. Well,
Like
I mean,
extreme
it was
debt.
fame.
Like extreme debt.
Yeah, yeah, and as well, it was one of those things back then as well that the prisons were sort of like privately run, so you ended up more debt the longer you were in a blooming prison anyway. So
Yeah. Well, they started running out
Sure.
of prison space, so they went to Australia and other countries
Yeah.
to dump their undesirables.
but like I mean, some of the famous like ones, a group who were called the Toll Puddle Martyrs, who were sent to Australia, and their big crime was forming a union. They got 7 years transportation for that.
Oh. Yeah.
Wouldn't we all be
union-
in jail back then?
Yeah, probably.
I was going
Yeah,
to say,
definitely.
I think pretty much anyone who comes in my chats, they would have found a reason to ship to Australia.
Yeah, debt slaves mostly. Glad they call it
That might, to be fair, that might have worked out quite well actually, because it mean I'll be able to meet up with people like Chris, Jen, and Matt for a drink, at some point.
Mm-hmm. Free transportation.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Then again, back then Australia was worse than it is now.
But it's
If
still,
you were-
well, I mean, let's be honest, all the wildlife there is still trying to kill you. That hasn't changed.
Well, it's not just the wildlife. The entire island itself is trying to kill you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, why
Even
do you
the
think
plants.
the cities are just a couple of dots along the coast and the entire interior is still vacant?
Yeah.
Even the plants are trying to kill you. Like, damn.
Yeah,
Even
like 2 years
even-
ago, they discovered some new insects hiding below the soil and basically determined that they were there because they were still trying to develop enough venom to kill you.
well, there's funniest story. One of the funny stories. Like one of the first ever camel that was introduced into Australia successfully managed to shoot its owner with a gun.
God damn.
This is absolutely true. And so so I was like, God damn! Even the imported wildlife is trying to kill you.
Well, and yeah, it's even the ones that aren't venomous are trying to kill you. That's why they had to go to war against the birds.
No, a friend of mine in Australia
And
actually
they
had a 4-foot long spider on his front door one day when he was coming home. He didn't dare move it, so he just named it Bob and went to the back door. Not even lying. He just saw it there. He's like, okay, you're home now, Bob.
Yep.
I hope you enjoy it.
Well, Nacho told me about finding a redback the size of a dinner plate in his kitchen when he flipped on the light one morning.
Oh, God. I can't remember who it was that did that. But yeah, he named it Bob, and a couple of days later, it finally left the house. But for a couple of days, he couldn't go out his front door because the spider was just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Guess the spider couldn't find any food, so it just left.
I think we could say one of our friends in the community who's arachnophobic would not like it in Australia.
Oh,
Yep.
hell no. I'm arachnophobic as hell, so no, I would not like it in Australia.
Well, the first apartment we had in when we were in New York, we had an orb weaver that was living on the back deck, back balcony of the apartment building. And they're the biggest spiders we get in these parts, but they're only like the size of the palm of your hand, and they're basically harmless to people.
Well, the spider I was talking about, he said it was harmless, but he wasn't going to risk it. He said, "Oh, it's not venomous or anything. It's just big."
Yeah, it was
Really
kind of funny
big.
though, because like orb weavers aren't really common around here, or they weren't in New York. And we had one at the apartment, and then when we wound up moving to a house, we wound up having one there, and they are remarkable web spinners. It's like I say, it's the size of the palm of your hand. It's maybe like 6 centimeters across. But every night it builds a new web. And the one by the house had decided to build its webs between the garden shed and the fence, which was a span of nearly 9 feet. And it rebuilt that 9-foot wide web every night.
Wow.
Wow.
I used to have a huntsman spider living behind the headboard of my bed. It was about the size of the palm of my hand.
Yeah, that's when my cousin keeps asking me why I don't move to Florida. I keep reminding her that that's one of the advantages of living where it gets below zero, is it keeps all the bugs relatively small.
There's also there's also Florida has its own weather issues as well from time to time, as people who are paying attention to the news a week or so ago should know.
Well, the weather only tries to kill you seasonally here.
Yeah, Ox, my rule of thumb is any creature that has enough legs to be 2 or more creatures shouldn't be around.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good rule. That's a good rule of thumb.
Centipedes are what really freak me out.
Oh, God. Yeah, if it's got too many legs, shoot it. I don't care. Just shoot it.
Now, I thought I heard something that another lovely invasive species I think Florida was getting
Oh, yeah.
was the centipedes from Puerto Rico.
I was going to say there was a type of lizard that was there. That was like a rainbow lizard.
Yeah, there was some type of iguana. I know because they were saying that when the temperature dropped below 50 degrees, the iguanas started falling out of the trees because they couldn't hold on.
Well, yeah, iguanas are very warm-blooded, so whenever it gets cold, they just shut down. Their whole bodies just stop because they go into hibernation mode. Well, survival mode, hibernation. And they just said that they just, like hundreds of iguanas just started falling from trees.
To be honest, though, Florida does get a few of like the worst invasive species on the planet. Sometimes end up in Florida.
Oh, that's good.
They're called British tourists.
Yeah, I was about to say that's because people keep on they buy exotic animals and bring it down to Florida for some reason. Because Florida's full of a bunch of rich fucks who don't give a fuck about the environment.
Yeah,
they'll buy really expensive exotic animals, don't know how to take care of them, so they release them into the wild, and then they have babies and spread.
Mm.
Well, as I understand it, part of the problem with the pythons getting established down there was that there had been multiple places breeding them, and when a hurricane came through, it basically just opened up all the cages for them.
Yeah.
So there were like thousands of them that were released after one hurricane.
Well, here in my hometown, I have panthers that have bred with bobcats. See, there was a very rich individual that lived here. He literally was a millionaire. I mean, I live in a very small town. It's about 1,400 people altogether. And we had this one rich dude who has a couple $1 million. He decided to get a breeding pair of panthers. He didn't know how the fuck to take care of them, so he just dropped them off in the woods, and they bred with the local wildlife. So we have panthers mixed with all kinds of different cats that just live in the swamps behind my house, near my house. So you'll hear stories about kids getting disappeared because of cats.
Yeah, baby.
I remember an orangutan escaping from a zoo around here, and I actually saw it. Briefly, though. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah. We never had any exotic animals, but when I lived in West St. Paul, apparently the cows managed to break down one of the fences at the slaughter plant. And it took them like 3 days before they found the last 5 cattle that were wandering around the neighborhoods.
But yeah, that one millionaire has bought a lot of different invasive species that have made its way into the swamps, and we have a zoo right near where I live, basically, an open zoo full of just the weirdest, stupidest combinations of animals that should not be here.
Yeah, we actually had to restore the beaches around off the Gulf because they were just eroding away.
Yeah. Yeah, I live about 50 miles away from the beach, from Myrtle Beach. So I live in a particular place where you have to go through here to get to the beach. So the only traffic we ever get is beach traffic, and that's extremely rare because people only go to the beach usually during the summer, and then they leave at the end of summer. So we'll get this huge rush of traffic in the main street about 2 weeks out of the year. And then it's back to normal. And then later on, when it's, starting to hit fall, we'll get a huge rush of traffic for about 2 weeks, and then it'll stop again. And that's the only traffic we see. Everything else, I mean, you can literally go on the street any time of day and see no cars. It's amazing.
Yeah. Where I lived in Upper Michigan, the only industry they had left is tourism. And mostly it was for the sportsmen. So we got the major rushes of traffic like that, like at the opening of hunting season.
Oh, we get hunting season too. We have a hunting club down here as well. Not too far from where I live. But yeah, that's not the only traffic we see, because the only thing that's here really is Wellman's. Wellman's plant. It's a recycling plant. They do textiles. It's basically a textile mill / recycling plant. It's one of the major ones in the southeast. Here in lovely South Carolina.
I visited South Carolina once.
I'll say one thing about South Carolina. It's beautiful. It is fucking gorgeous here, especially at night, because you can look up in the sky and see every star. Sometimes you can see nebula. It's so clear sometimes. That's just how little light pollution we have. You can, with your naked eye, look up in the sky sometimes and see nebula.
Thanks.
It's amazing.
That was one nice thing about when we had all the power out. I could actually see the stars.
But yeah, until they put in the LED lights, which are fucking annoying. Wish they had the original, just the old light bulbs, because those didn't put off much light. It was nice and dark around here at night. Now it's bright as fuck. Because they had to put LEDs in the lights because traffic and everything, and they were worried that people would get into accidents without the lights at night. I'm like, that's what headlights are for. Holy shit.
Yeah, each night I'd go out and look at the stars, and just kind of slowly watch the stars kind of disappear again as you got the power back on.
Yeah, that had to suck. I mean, you can still go out and see the stars here. I mean, it's not that bright, but it was better without the LED lights, which they just recently put in. They put them in literally a couple months after I moved back. I think it was because I cut the power back on. They saw that they weren't using up, or rather, they were using up too much power. Because they weren't LEDs, they were the old phosphorescent lights, and phosphorescent lights use up considerably more power than the LED lights. And they saw that and they were like, oh, we got to change those lights.
Yep. Well, that's the big advantage of the LEDs, is that they use a fraction of the power and actually give off more light.
Yeah. A good thing.
Oh, boy.
I'm not sure how they rank against the phosphorescents, but against standard incandescents, they're like 1/7 to 1/10 as much power.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Jeff?
Dr. Evil wants to debate me again.
Oh,
Fine.
God. Oh,
Yeah.
I should say Powell.
No, you know Dr. Evil, Granny.
I do?
Isaiah.
Oh,
Isaiah.
okay.
Yeah, wants to debate me on whether God exists.
I still like Creeky Blinder's response to the Kent Hovind.
I haven't watched that yet. I've heard it's quite good.
It is. It's really good.
Which one?
When he said, the grass is blue, the grass is blue. No, the grass is green. That's actually a parable of the lion, the donkey, and the tiger. The donkey came up to the tiger and said, "Look, the grass is blue." The tiger says, "No, it isn't. The grass is clearly green." Donkey says, no, the grass is blue. Just look at it. It's blue. Tiger says, no, the grass is green. He's like, okay, let's go to the king then and see what the king says. And the donkey and the tiger go to the lion, and the donkey tells the lion that the grass is blue. And the lion says, and the tiger says, no, the grass is green. It's clearly green. The lion says, the grass is whatever color you wish it to be. The donkey is correct. The grass is blue. Now, as your punishment, Tiger, you are not to speak for 2 weeks. The tiger's like, but whenever the donkey leaves and, he mocks the tiger and everything and says, ha, 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 I win, you lose. And he leaves, and the tiger is sitting there talking with the king. He's like, but the grass is green, right? He's like, yes, of course the grass is green. The donkey's an idiot. He's like, then why did you punish me and not the donkey? He said, because, what was the actual term he used?
He said, I'm punishing you for arguing with an ass.
Yeah, I'm punishing you for arguing with an ass. I'm punishing you for arguing with an ass. And you shouldn't have to argue with an ass.
Yeah, Creaky's funny.
You don't argue with an ass is the point. Because you can never win an argument against an ass.
Although I guess that the tiger
I don't
never
know,
heard of-
I don't know. You guys haven't seen Isaiah in a debate, have you? That's proof that you can win when you're debating an ass.
Well, see, the thing is, the ass will run off and claim they won.
Oh, that happens. That happens. Yeah, that has happened.
They never lose a debate because in their mind they have won. No matter what you say, you'll never convince them. They will always walk off. They have won.
G-Man's a good example of that.
Oh God. The man
I guess the tiger never heard of Kentucky bluegrass.
I have seen Kentucky bluegrass. It's still fucking green. It's not blue. It's still green. But no, God damn it.
Blue is a very rare color in nature.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, for animals, it is the rarest pigment.
What they call blue in botany is usually purple.
Yeah, or violet, more specifically. There's a small demarcation between violet and purple. There's a small difference, very slight.
The pigment for blue took a long time for it to be discovered in the art worlds, and if you look back on ancient paintings and stuff like this, you'll see a lot of them contain no blue because they just didn't have that. And when they finally came up with it, they didn't have a word for it.
I don't think that happened till the 1600s, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yep.
It was around the 1600s they discovered blue. They discovered how to make pigments for blue.
Well, the first thing they found to make a pigment from blue was a type of snail shell that was still fairly rare to find.
That doesn't sound, because the Egyptian had blue.
One thing they told us when we were visiting the Vatican was that when the Pope commissioned Michelangelo to do the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, the first time he didn't give him any money for materials. He only paid him for his time. And blue was a very expensive pigment to buy, so he used extremely little blue in the paintings. But when the Pope came to him much later in life and asked him to do it again, first he said no, and the Pope said, look, this time I'll pay for all of the materials. So when he really didn't have a whole lot of choice in the matter, so when he did it, the second painting has a lot more blue in it because now the Pope was paying for the materials.
Yeah, I mean, Michelangelo didn't even want that to do that job of the Sistine Chapel.
No, he didn't.
Michelangelo, the world's first tagger.
accept the commission or be damned for eternity.
Right.
Yeah, well, the thing you also got to remember that he was from Florence, and then you at the time the particular popes that commissioned him were members of the Medici family at the time. So
It was more like not be damned for eternity, more like be locked up for eternity.
And then the Medici's made
Or-
him put their faces on all the sculptures and stuff that he did and all the paintings.
Either
that backfired a little bit though, because one of the paintings in the Sistine Chapel, it's the Final Judgment. I think the image depicting God is actually a self-portrait of Michelangelo and casting judgment on one of the Medici popes, I think.
Sounds like a good idea.
But yeah, Creaky said he's not going to ever debate Kent Hovind because you don't debate an ass.
Yep.
I don't think that'd be increased. I don't think I'm not being funny. I don't think debating's kind of Creaky's thing anyway. But
no, Creaky's a good debate. I've seen Creaky debate in the past. He's a damn good debater. He is a damn good debater. But recently he hasn't debated much. But still, he is a damn good debater. I've seen some of his older debates. He's really good. Creaky is incredibly intelligent, even though he doesn't own that he is.
Oh, I know. Creaky is very intelligent, but it's I mean, I think there's one thing I actually, I mean, I just never seen him do debates, so I just assumed it wasn't his thing.
Oh,
I mean, I would, yeah.
Jeff,
debates all the time.
Does his name Creeky Blinder mean anything in English? English?
Yeah, it's
only that it's a play on the TV show Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what is
but Creaky has said himself that his channel isn't even. He says he's not a serious debunking channel. He's just a point and laugh channel.
Yeah, he has fun at the idiots. That's what Creaky does.
Yeah. But back when he did debates, he was actually quite intelligent. And he did bring really good, evidence. But that was back in 2018, I think, 2019.
Yeah.
Like that.
If he debated a bunch of people at one time, then he could be a mass debater.
Yeah. But I don't know who. I mean, I don't know who he. I've never seen him do a debate, so I don't know. I mean,
that was.
I would say people.
I
would say people. I think people often underestimate Hovind as someone who does debates, because Hovind's in terms of like his actual knowledge of stuff, he's awful. We all know his routine. But Hovind is very, very good at getting under the skin of people. He's
Mister, I'm not prepared for that.
Yeah. But I mean, I noticed it a bit when he had that thing with Professor Dave. And I did notice that Hovind got under Professor Dave's skin quite a bit.
Yeah, he did, actually.
And that's something Hovind is very good at doing.
Yeah, why do you think he does that whole SpongeBob thing? It's just to piss people off.
Yeah.
On our show, on the stream last night, Jeff, we came up with a title for the program that the collab that you and I are going to do with on Kent. We're going to call it Smack a Christian.
Okay.
Whack a Christian.
No, that was the whole thing. I wanted to avoid the word whack.
Smack.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to do Smack a Christian.
Slapping some sense into them new world creationists.
It is my aim. It's one of my aims in life to get on Whack an Atheist.
Yep.
It'll be.
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of that kind of terminology because it's just, I mean, it's.
That's why I don't want to use the word whack. it has too many other connotations that I don't
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, true. And people like Matt Powell are just the worst.
Yeah.
Matt Powell and Kent
No,
Hook.
Matt Powell.
worse.
Matt Powell is Matt Powell is just walking sack of snake feces in my opinion. So
Yeah, no, he's worse than that. He's lower than that. He is like, if you were down to dig down into a barrel and find the sludge at the bottom of the barrel, and then you keep on digging deeper into it, and then you find the source, which is just this rotting carcass of just the worst, most putrid shit. And then you go deeper than that and find the scum that's living on the bottom of that, and wonder why the fuck has nobody cleaned this barrel out. That is Matt Powell.
Yeah, see, I like the first couple of times I ever even addressed Matt Powell in videos was was to have a bit, just take the piss out of him a bit, really, because I got in on that whole thing Simon Dan was doing, the Dr. Peel thing, and then I found out that Matt Powell used a clipping of me in one of it, or at least a still of me in one of his videos, and so I just thought, I'll have a bit of fun with that, and so it was a little bit of fun for a while, but then the last time I did something on him, I just was like, no, I wasn't just. It was after what he did to Bree, and I was like, no, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah,
So basically,
I still find it hilarious that he thought Surus was trans.
Well, I was a bit caught off by that because I hadn't watched Surus in a while, and I'm like, Surus trans? I didn't know this.
Surus did
and then I found,
reply on.
and like someone in the chat, someone in the comments told me, no, Surus isn't trans. It's a bit of a bit of a joke. Yeah,
that was me.
So Matt Powell
Yeah.
deleted Surus's response on his channel.
Yeah, he did.
Matt,
Oh, he does that. He actually does.
That was me that informed you, by the way.
Matt Powell does that to all of any negative responses that he deletes.
Well, it wasn't even a negative response. It was just a correction.
Yeah, it was just correct. It was him saying that I'm not trans.
Yeah.
It's just gender fan art that went a little bit out of control and ended up in me creating an avatar out of it. That's the entire
this is the thing though, it contradicts Matt Powell's narrative, so it's still, anything that makes Matt Powell look like he got something wrong, it's going to get deleted from that channel.
Yeah, true. Anything that runs counter to what Matt Powell says gets deleted.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
No matter how benign it is.
It would be fun to copy all his videos for anything that is ever said. Okay, I'll be quiet. Sorry.
You're roboting some.
Yeah, roboting a lot.
Who, me or?
Yeah, you're sounding good now.
Yeah, that's all right. I think my Wi-Fi conked out for a sec there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Matt Powell. I wouldn't. I've never spoken to him, and I've got no intention of ever speaking to him, quite frankly. So, because for starters, he just look. I know what he does is he looks for little. Looks for little sound bites where he can clip and take people out of context. So I wouldn't. I'm not going to provide him with that opportunity to do that to me, but. But there's very few people I won't engage with or won't have around my channel. I think there's only about 2 people that I've actually barred outright from being in chat in my channel, and that's Darth Dawkins and Natangelo, and that's it. So
yeah, one of the things I can't get about the young Earth Christians is that they know the whole Old Testament is taken from the Jews. And yet they are interpreting it the way no Jew ever has. I have never encountered a young Earth Jew.
Yeah, but this is the thing: is young Earth creationism is, forgive the pun, it is quite a young phenomenon in the terms of religion. Really, it's not been around all that long.
It's pseudoscience. It's literally pseudoscience. It's all it is. It's their beliefs masquerading as their truth. They know the Earth isn't 6,000 years old. They know it's billions of years old. They know it for a fact. They argue it's 6,000 years old because if they don't, then they'll have to admit that some parts of their holy book are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And to admit that they'd have to call into question the entire book. And they can't question their own religion because then that would be questioning their faith, which would be going against God, which would be going against their religion, and it would completely cause basically cognitive dissonance, which, they can't deal with. So they create this fairy tale in their head that the Earth is 6,000 years old. There's nothing else they can do about it. So we have to make shit up. We have to deny everything in order to accept the bullshit. So they know that the Earth isn't 6,000 years old. They know that the Earth's billions of years old. That the universe is billions of years old, if not older.
I don't think they do. I think some of them do. I think some of the scientists that they've hired know better and just claim to not because that's what they get paid to do.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of the grassroots people, they really think that it's true.
Yeah, the grassroots one.
Okay. The parishioners, they're not smart enough to realize that they're being scammed.
Right.
But the scammers know better. The scammers are just bullshitting because they get paid to bullshit.
Well, it's like what's it Aaron Ra used to say, there's two kinds of young Earth creationists, the deceived and the deceivers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, people, guys like Ken Ham, Kent Hovind, and anyone that answers to Genesis, they know they're full of shit. They know it. But the one, but obviously a lot of their followers don't really believe genuinely what they're saying.
Well, Paul Gia made an interesting observation that AIG avoids having Georgia Purdom in any video that they actually mention the areas that her degree would cover.
Right, genetics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They always have people in an area that is not their forte.
So they've got somebody who's an expert on the subject, and they refuse to bring them in when they're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like John Morris Pendleton. Wait, he's not an expert in anything. He's just a car repair guy who claims he has all these other science degrees, but doesn't, because he never shows any evidence that he does. He just claims that he does.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think why Answers in Genesis are a little more insidious about than, say, someone like Kent Hovind. We all know things like Hovind's doctorate is bogus and so on, but a lot of people Answers in Genesis have hired do have legitimate PhDs, so they have a bit more of a veneer of respectability. Now, okay, they're all dishonest as hell because they know they're spouting shit.
That's why I love Professor Dave Explains.
Yeah,
he's actually done some videos on a lot of the people from AIG. I think it's AIG. I can't remember the ID Institute thing. The intelligent design people.
That might be Creation Institute.
Creation Institute. Yeah, you're right. It's Creation Institute. Sorry, not AIG. Creation Institute. He's actually done a series of some of the quote unquote scientists.
They're kind of, I mean, yeah, it's easy to get them confused, though. I mean, yeah, I mean, they are two cheeks of the same arse, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, Creationists too are also young Earth creationists, so who use quote unquote scientists like geologists to do biology. They're like, what? Like literally, they have geologists talking about biology. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like, if you got a geologist, have them talk about geology, not something that's completely outside of their field.
Well, you know, I have a toothache. I go to a foot doctor.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. I have a brain aneurysm. I go to a stomach doctor, definitely. No, I haven't looked at my ass. I go to a proctologist if I have a brain tumor. See if he can remove it that way.
Well, you know, some people do have to do that.
Yeah. Especially in the U.S., where our health isn't the best. That's another topic altogether. And then, speaking of Bible stuff, the whole abortion thing, the Christians do know that the Bible is pro-choice, right?
No. They
Yeah,
would
it
if they
is.
bothered to read it. They would if they bothered to read it. Yeah.
They don't, though. That's the thing. They don't even read their own holy book. Atheists
Well-
have read the Bible more than Christians do.
It's actually a very simple argument. God gave us free will. Therefore, God is pro-choice. If he wasn't pro-choice, we simply wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah, true. But
The
there are-
argument
Oh, go
argument that I like to make is if God was really concerned about people not having an abortion, then why did he make this baby that he knows is going to be aborted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have made some of the things the Republicans are saying true, like that a woman actually could shut down her reproduction during a rape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or he would make rape victims never get pregnant.
Yeah. But we have verses in the Bible that say you should go to your priest and have them take the clay off the tabernacle floor, mix it with holy water, and give it to the woman as a abortion
test for
egg.
fidelity.
A
But-
test for fidelity. Yeah. If
Mhm.
if they abort if the fetus survives, she was not unfaithful. If the fetus dies, she was unfaithful. That's abortion.
Sounds a lot like
Yeah,
abortion
God
to
not
me.
only approves of it, but he gives instructions
it.
on how the priest is supposed to
Mm.
conduct one.
Yeah.
Now, see, if I was doing the whole God thing, I'd make rapists develop violent and explosive diarrhea. I'm thinking it's kind of hard to rape somebody while you're violently shitting yourself.
No, I would make their dicks explode. I would
Yeah,
just
that
make their
works
dicks
too.
explode. I would just make it explode. It would just fall right off as soon as it happens.
Yeah, I guess that could work too.
Well, I mean, all you would really need to do is give women the ability to close the opening.
Yeah.
Mm,
Just
that
chop
sounds
it
like
off.
a good idea.
Just chop it off.
Do both.
Just use one of those vaginal inserts that's barbed on the inside.
I've seen
God.
those things.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
those were invented by some woman doctor in Africa because of the rape problem there.
Did you see the movie Teeth? It's
I have heard of it. I never watched it.
I've seen it. It's fucking hilarious. It's about this girl who has teeth down there.
Vagina
Mm.
dentata.
Yeah, vagina dentata. It's fucking hilarious. It's supposed to be a horror movie. It's supposed to be horror, but it's just fucking funny.
When I had my bottom surgery and I came out of it, The doctor was there, as I'm waking up and stuff. And I said, "Did you install the teeth?" And he just kind of went, "What? Huh?" He completely did not get it.
My mom actually was almost raped while she was in the Philippines. My dad gave her a stick pin to protect her, and it actually came in handy. When the guy had her down on the ground, she reached around with a stick pin and jabbed him in the back. That got him off real quick.
Then there was another movie. God damn it! What was the name of the movie? I can't remember the name of it. Chatterbox. Have you seen that one? Chatterbox is about a woman with a talking vagina.
Okay.
It's a comedy movie. It's hilarious. I would definitely suggest watching it. It's a 1977 film from and they actually made a updated version in the late 80s, I think. I can't remember right now, but yeah, it's just
Is it Mel Brooks?
I don't know. Let me see. Let me see.
It doesn't. I don't think it was Mel Brooks.
It does
Okay.
not sound.
It just sounded like something he might do.
No, it does not. It sounds
Okay.
like nothing he would ever do.
Let me see. Tom DeSimone. Writers Mark Brute Rawson, Norman Yorimoto, Tom DeSimone. Stars Candice Rielson, Larry Gilman, and Jane King.
Larry Gilman?
Yeah, Larry Gilman.
Oh, Frank Burns Eat Worms.
Oh yeah, that was Frank Burns, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Let me see. Don't. Yeah, it's called Chatterbox. It's a really unique. No, it's not the same Larry Gilman.
Oh no, his name was Larry Linville. Sorry.
Okay. Look, Larry Gilman from the Doris Day Show.
Never watched it.
Oh god, that's a bit before my time, but I saw it myself. It's a pretty good show. Had Rip Taylor in it. Oh yeah, it did. It had Rip Taylor in it. That's the reason I remember it, because it had Rip Taylor. If you don't know who Rip Taylor is, oh my god, that man is on fire.
Flaming.
Yes, very much so. I fucking love Rip Taylor. Rip Taylor's like fucking brilliant. It's a brilliant comedian. But yeah, Chatterbox, you need to watch it if you haven't. It's 1977. It's a 70s movie. That has Rip Taylor in it. I mean, come on.
Well, there's been several movies of killer
These
penises.
names are all lost on me, so.
And it's about a talking pussy. I mean, only she can hear it. So, and in the end, she meets a guy with a talking dick. So, and the talking dick has like this really, really incredibly low voice. It is.
I know most of us guys think with that particular organ, but not talk with it.
No. She doesn't talk with it. She just talks with it. As in, it talks to her.
She has conversations that other people can't hear.
Yeah, exactly. With her own vagina.
Okay.
It's like I said, it's a product of the 70s.
I think that would probably be diagnosed as some form of schizophrenia.
Probably. Oh, God. I have weird. I find the weirdest shit online. Okay. And that happened to be one of the weirder shits I found back about.
Well, I have heard of all these movies you
20
mentioned.
years
I just
ago.
never watched any of them.
Well, check out if you're into really weird shit like that. And check out the movie Bad Biology.
Oh God, no! One of my favorite horror movies was actually called Feast. That one, oh God. If you like Army of Darkness, like the Evil Dead Army of Darkness, you will love Feast. That Feast is one of the best comedy horror films ever made. It's really low budget. It's really got really low rankings. It's got really low reviews. A lot of people say it's shitty, but I view it as less shitty, more artistically humorous.
Feast, you said?
Yeah, Feast. 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 It's like a 2001 movie, I think.
I'm looking at a 2005 movie here by that
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, that's the one. 2005, yeah. Bobby Robot, Krista Allen, yeah. Yeah, I recognize that box art. It's hilarious. It's not meant to be hilarious, but it's fucking hilarious. It does have it does have very good comedy scenes in it, but I don't think they meant the entire movie to be, a comedy.
Well, if you want a good parody one, I just dropped a link on the side chat that there was one from 2001 called Evolution.
Oh, Evolution is, I love Evolution.
Yeah, which the basic premise of it is that a meteorite brought spores from alien plants down to Earth. And just everything is like, evolving in a matter of hours from these alien spores.
They made a cartoon of that as well.
But no, the only reason I found Feast was because that was back when I was doing my Grindhouse kick. I used to love Grindhouse movies, and I just bought up all the Grindhouse movies I could find, and Feast was one of those. Was a Grindhouse movie.
I might have to check out that movie Feast.
Yes, Ox, the best horror movie of all time was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yes.
That is, yes.
Oh, that was
one of
a
the best
classic.
all-time
That
movies
was
ever.
a classic.
Yes.
That was a classic.
Did you know there was a French version after Return of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yeah, Killer Tomatoes Eat France. Yeah, I've seen that.
Killer Tomatoes Eat France.
There's been several Killer Tomato.
Yeah, weren't there 4 or
Yeah.
5 of them, I thought. That was
the
also
cartoon-
one that they did make a cartoon series out of at one
I
point.
love the cartoon series of that. That was.
I never saw the cartoons. I was just aware they existed because I saw the toys showing up.
I've seen the cartoon. I had some of the toys.
I remember the cartoon series. I thought it was been awful when I was a kid, but I didn't really. It's one of those things I didn't get. I didn't get the humor of it at the time. I didn't get what it was trying to do.
Yeah, I also played the video game based on the cartoon.
Oh god, the video game was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
It was fucking terrible. That was the thing at the time, though. Every single movie, well, even now, honestly, all the video games are usually fucking terrible. Because they're just cash grabs. They're just...
Yeah.
They throw slot together and think, oh, we're going to put this name of this movie on it, and if we put the name of the movie on it, people will buy it.
Yeah, they usually reskin a game
Oh.
that failed in the first place.
That's nothing new. That is nothing new, though.
No, that is... No. E.T. The E.T. game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
jeez.
mean, I don't know how familiar you are with the British software house called Ocean.
Oh, Ocean. Oh, God.
Ocean Games, yeah. Okay.
Don't remind me.
They, yeah. Say no more.
Yeah.
They repackaged. But to their credit, they were one of the first to see the benefits of like acquiring things like movie licenses and so on. Most of the games they produced were actually pretty naff. There was a few good ones, but most of them were bloody awful. But they could get a license for off of a movie or something, and you could get them quite cheap then because even Hollywood hadn't quite wised up to the potential of this, and they sold a lot of games just because they were able to put
That's why
Yeah,
George Lucas got rich. His genius was not making Star Wars because he said the studio could have the majority of the ticket sales. His genius was that he kept all the marketing rights to himself. So he was the one who went out and promoted that they should make a toy line from it. And that's where he really made his money.
What was the name of that company that did ET? LG Games?
Yeah, but George Lucas was the first one to really just try to plaster the name of his movie onto absolutely every product made.
Yeah,
You know,
but
my
to his
favorite.
credit, though, the Super Nintendo Star Wars games were actually pretty good. They were actually pretty decent for side-scrolling / what you call them, action platformer.
In fact, the one of the video games is. I'm
Hack
not
and
sure it was
slash.
one of the Super Nintendo ones, but it was one of the video games where Boba Fett got his fame.
Yeah.
One of my favorite horror comedies is Return of the Living Dead. In fact, that's the movie that made brain eating zombies famous. That's where they first got Return of the Living Dead.
I mean, just look at the Back to the Future games.
Yeah.
Those were terrible. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with Back to the Future. It was just a reskin of another game that had failed.
Yep.
It was literally a reskin of a game that had failed with Michael, what is his name? Michael,
Michael J. Fox, you talking about?
Michael J. Fox, yeah. With Michael J. Fox's character looking like Michael J. Fox's character with the little hoverboard that they threw in, just because.
Yeah, my favorite of the zombie comedies was Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead was
I didn't
great.
really get into that one that much.
Shaun of the Dead, that is hilarious.
Well, the opening of that one was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Hot Fuzz was great too, but we were talking about
Hot Fuzz. What's the other one? World's End. They actually call those through the Cornetto trilogy now, don't they?
Yeah.
I need to get back to work, but it's been good hanging with you, and happy birthday, Mage.
Okay, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Yep, and happy birthday, Juni, too, if she's still with us here.
Happy birthday, Juni. I didn't realize it was Juni's birthday, too.
Somebody just reminded me of it this morning, or I would have put that in the title.
Oh, you can always change the title later.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Have a good day.
See you later.
I hear Michael J. Fox showed up on one of the Comic Cons that were recently done. And you got to meet up with his co-star from Back to the Future.
Yeah, I heard he makes the best milkshakes.
No.
Sorry, I had to. I'm sorry. I am so sorry for that. That was terrible of me.
Well, yes, and for bad movies, of course, how could we forget about Sharknado and
oh God,
and all of the things that the Sci-Fi Channel produced in that era.
Birds.
Yeah.
Birds. No, birds. Birdemic. That's the one. Birdemic.
Okay, the worst one I remember of the sci-fi bad movies was one called Jurassic Attack.
Oh God.
Which was this development company was building something on sacred Native American land. So this American Indian guy broke into a museum and did some weird ritual that infused 3 of the dinosaur skeletons with a green glow, and they went on a rampage.
No. Birdemic is the worst. Birdemic is the absolute worst. No, just chasing.
Well, I didn't see that one. So.
Chasing birds with coat hangers. That was a scene. They were defending themselves with wire coat hangers.
Oh, I thought you meant the birds had coat hangers and they were trying to pop the locks open on their cars.
No. the animation on that. They had, I think, a couple $100. Not even
Yeah, that was
thousands.
about the budget the Sci-Fi Channel usually gave them.
They had a budget of a couple $100, so the animation was horrendous. They used stock images of birds flying down on top of the people, and you could absolutely tell that it was done on a green screen. For one, every single backdrop was the absolute worst edited in. I mean, you could literally tell that they were just standing in front of a back screen. Immersion did not exist in this movie.
Yeah,
There was no
another one I
immersion.
remember from that was I don't even remember the title of it, but there was a volcano in the middle of a city, and from like all the cracks where the lava was coming up, there were flaming spiders coming up that were turned out to be like some kind of colony insects.
Oh.
So then at the end there was this like massive queen spider the size of a house.
There's one horror movie I remember, The Descent. Have you heard of that one? It's an actual good horror movie. And I'm not going to ruin the ending for you, but the ending will piss you off. You'll love the ending, but it'll piss you off at the same time. I'll just say that much if you ever decide to watch it. But The Descent is...
Is this one of those movies that you wind up rooting for the monsters?
No. The Descent. The actual characters, you actually, it's a 2005 film as well. I think The Descent is one of the Grindhouse films that I found with Feast, actually. Yeah, it was. That is one of the movies I found with Feast. That when I was back in my Grindhouse kick back 2006. Director Neil Marshall, writer Neil Marshall. But yeah, you actually like the character. You end up liking the characters in the movie. And a caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators. It had a low budget, it had kind of a medium budget, but they did really well with what budget they had. I mean, gods, they did really good with that one. And it's not like I said, it's not like a low budget film, like a terrible low budget film. But they had a pretty decent budget and they did really well with it. I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of those sci-fi ones were done by the Asylum, which got into some legal trouble because of how closely they would imitate some popular movies.
But yeah, The Descent 2005 film from that's another one I definitely recommend. Neil Marshall. Yeah. I used to hate horror movies, but a friend really got me into them about in the mid 2000s. And so I just went on a Grindhouse kick.
I'm not a massive fan of horror movies.
I
like horror movies.
It depends. If it's a good one, I can appreciate it. But
my friend introduced me to the Evil Dead series. That was the very first horror movie that I actually liked, because I was exposed to horror movies when I was about 6 or 7 years old. They gave me nightmares because my babysitters were assholes.
Yeah, you want to watch Army of Darkness and Ash vs. Evil Dead if you like the Evil Dead stuff.
Oh, I fucking loved that one. That was my favorite. The series? Oh, I fucking love the series.
Yeah, the series.
I watched it when it came out on Stars.
I think one of my big issues with the whole, I suppose this is a general thing, I suppose, with any sort of thing with franchises or whatever, but horror is particularly bad for it, is that is the endless sequels that you get that are just so bad to something
Nightmare
that
on Elm
might have
Street.
originally. Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, the one I really thought was sick after a while. That was because because I thought it was an interesting concept at first, was Saw, but then it just got more. It just got more and more about this bloody disgusting
Saw.
torture porn, which I don't see what the appeal of that to anyone. And I think, well, let's put it this way. I'm sorry. I just question you as a human being if you get off on some of those Saw movies.
I actually watched Saw 3D in the theaters, and it was awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Saw 3D was pretty awesome in the movies in actual 3D.
I didn't really get into the Saw movies.
I do think the original concept behind it, the cycle. I mean, I think they had a very interesting villain, for example, in Jigsaw. But I just think the whole thing became more and more about how many more ways can we depict a human body getting cut up for people, because just to amuse people that get off on fucking torture porn.
Yeah,
I think it's fucking sick.
Yeah, for real.
Well, my fiance loved just all sorts of horror movies, the good, the bad, regardless. It's like the ones that I could laugh at and poke fun with, I'd watch with her. The more serious ones, I just couldn't watch, and especially things like the Saw movies. There was no way I could watch those.
I enjoyed them, but the only ones I really couldn't watch was stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street, because that literally gave me nightmares as a child. I could not sleep for like an entire month after watching that, because I would wake up with the worst. I had sleep paralysis, as well as I can't think of what. Night terrors. Night terrors. Yeah. I had night terrors and sleep paralysis.
Yep.
So, yeah, as a kid, that's not fun.
I
still get the sleep paralysis about twice a year, and even when you know what it is still terrifying when it's happening.
No, I once had this dream I was actually fighting Freddy. I woke up with a long cut across my chest.
Ooh. I would have nightmares about Freddy all the time when I was a kid. And I just
not sure I'd really call that one in dream I had a nightmare though.
Jason, I didn't have a problem with. What Friday the 13th? Yeah, Friday the 13th. Yeah. I didn't have a problem with Friday the 13th. It was Freddy. It was fucking Freddy I had a problem with. That and Reanimator. Reanimator was no. Not doing that one. I still can't watch Reanimator to this day. Even though it's about an eldritch abomination and Cthulhu and all that. And just like Pet Cemetery, I can't watch it either.
Basically anything with an animal thing, huh?
Yeah, any dealing with animals? No, I can't. I cannot. No. Hell no. That's not me. That's not me.
There's only one horror movie that I just, how can I put it? I couldn't finish watching because it was so sick. It's just called I think it's just called a Serbian movie.
Oh, that.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I watched that.
Listen, I don't think we need to get into. I don't even want to talk about the details of that, but you can probably imagine the bit where I decided, no, I'm done. I'm not watching this anymore.
That was literally just torture porn. That was not a movie.
Yeah,
that was torture porn.
That was, and that's what I hate. That's what I hate. That's what I really find disgusting.
That wasn't even a torture. That wasn't a horror movie. That was just fucking torture porn. There's nothing good about that movie. Nothing. Yeah. There's no redeemable factor whatsoever.
Have you
Saul
seen?
Saul was at least redeemable. Saul was at least redeemable in the fact that it had a story. That no.
Have you seen Reeker?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that was basically this group of people are fighting this Grim Reaper-like thing called the Reeker.
Oh. Well, there's one horror movie that still gets to me to this day. 1408. Not because the room's haunted. That room's just fucking evil.
I'll basically watch any crap horror movie if it has a evil ghost in it.
No, it didn't have ghosts in it. That room was just fucking evil. It's a fucking evil room. Because the room is 1408, 1 plus 4 plus 8, 13. So it's on the 13th floor. It's the 13th room, essentially. So, yeah. Because that hotel didn't have... A lot of hotels now, they will not have a floor 13 because it's superstitious, and they'll skip right to the 14th floor. Well, 14th
Well,
floor
what
is
a lot of buildings do...
technically 13th floor.
What a lot of buildings do is they wind up using the 13th floor for like the machinery.
Yeah.
So there'll be like, the heating and air conditioning systems for our tower will take up the entire floor.
Yeah. Either that or just not have the 13th floor altogether and just skip right to 14. I have seen that. I literally see elevators that go 12, 14.
Yeah, but some people figure that out. There was actually one skyscraper that was built. I don't remember where, but yeah, the 13th floor is actually missing. That there's the skeleton for it, and the floors continue above it, but they never put the walls in to enclose it.
Oh, so it's just a closed off, an entire closed off area.
Yeah,
with nothing there, but.
Yeah, there's no access to it. All there is the skeleton and the elevator shafts running through it.
That's actually pretty brilliant. If you want to get rid of a floor, just concrete out the door, essentially.
So are these all upcoming recommendations to Halloween that's coming up? Is it?
Yeah. You can say that. Yeah.
I always loved the old South Park like haunted thing of the Blockbuster video episode. I always found that quite funny.
Little boy, you're going to hell.
One of my usual go-tos for Halloween is Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, Dawn of the Dead's great. Dawn of the Dead's great. My go-to is always just Evil Dead, the Evil Dead trilogy.
My favorite is Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah.
But no, the Evil Dead trilogy is actually what originally got me into horror movies, though, seriously. My friend just happened to have the entire collection on DVD, and he was like, "You want to watch it?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't really like horror movies." He's like, "Come on, man, let's just watch it." Okay, fine. I'll watch it. I haven't watched horror movies in like 20 years, so why not?
I just don't really care for horror movies myself.
And I watched them and I fell in love with Bruce Campbell at that point. Actually, that's why I watched. Campbell. That's the only reason I watched Hercules or Xena was because of Bruce Campbell.
Bubba Hotep.
Oh, Bubba Hotep! I have that on DVD. I own that on DVD. I love that movie. Bubba Hotep is one of my favorites. I don't like My Name is Bruce, though, because it was just too campy.
Yeah, it was a little...
My Name is Bruce was just way... He didn't like that movie.
Well, I will also warn you that people don't like to watch horror movies with me, because generally the way I deal with them is I start poking at the bad science.
What was that low-budget sci-fi he also did around the same time with the alien bug things taking over the world?
Oh god, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it though. I'm gonna look it up real quick. 1 second.
Kids, I'm gonna take off.
Okay, Jenny.
Right.
Hey, Jenny.
Oh god,
you get some rest. You take care of yourself. We hope you get better soon.
Yeah. And the only reason I actually watched Burn Notice was because of Bruce Campbell.
I have to get back to Burn Notice. I had been binge watching it while I was still in New York, and I was halfway through the 4th season, and Netflix dropped it, so I never got to see beyond that point. I did find a box set of it during COVID, so I bought it so I could finish watching it. I just never got
Oh.
back to it.
Nice. I hate that they canceled it though. I really hate that they canceled it.
Yeah,
That's a really
I
good
just
series. Really good series.
this is the thing about Netflix that it has pissed me off so much I don't even like to use Netflix anymore. Because like 3 times I've been like halfway through a series and they dropped it before I could see the final season.
I remember Kate.
Oh, Man with the Screaming
Bionic-
Brain.
Yeah,
Man with
I
the Screaming Brain. Was
remember Kate from Bionic Dance, just saying that she was in the middle of watching a show and they took it off.
Another good,
Yeah.
another great one was Man with the Screaming Brain. That was another Bruce Campbell film.
Mm.
I loved Man with the Screaming Brain. That was an excellent movie. Even though, Bruce Campbell does comedy horror now instead of actual. Oh, and he was great in Charm too. It's in that one episode. In one episode, and he was the bad guy. He was a witch hunter, basically, FBI agent. Beggars and choosers, attacking on the brain, Jack of all trades. Jack of all trades was pretty good, too.
I remember Jack of all trades.
Icebreaker, Hercules, Xena, Penicillin, X-Files, Ice Freak, Time Cop, Broken Helix, Missing Links, Ellen. He was an Ellen?
That was Alien Apocalypse that he was with those bug things.
Assault on Dome 4. He was in Escape from LA. Oh, he was in Lewis and Clark as well. He did Adventures of Superman, the 1995 one with what's his name? Bill Church Jr.
Oh yeah, that's Coach Boomer and Sky High.
Dean Cain. That was it. Sucks that Dean Cain turned out to be such a scum.
Yeah. Another
Dean
one
Cain
to
was hot.
another one to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, again, like the J.K. Rowling thing. Just like Kevin Sorbo. I loved Kevin Sorbo in Hercules. I loved him in fucking Andromeda. But
Yeah.
he turned out to be such a misogynist piece of shit.
Well, and separating the art from the artist, I can do that okay with an author because, they're not directly part of the presentation. I find it much harder to do that with an actor.
Yeah. Did you know, has any of y'all watched
I
Andromeda?
find that very difficult to do with Kevin Sorbo because I think most of his acting is shit as well. So
But
Well,
did
yeah,
you-
there are certain people who I don't really like to call actors because they don't act. It's the same character in everything they're in. So that's just them walking around. They're not really acting.
Well, it's not
that
always.
was Kevin
They don't
Sorbo.
always. They don't always create a. They create a persona to public persona rather
Wait.
than an actual how they actually
Yeah.
are.
Was that a dig at Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey?
Well, that's
Because
that's why the actors that I really respect are the ones who can play very diverse characters.
Heath
You know,
Ledger.
like I love
Heath
Brent
Ledger.
Spiner because
Ledger was a
most
great
people
one.
don't even remember that Brent Spiner was in Night Court
Oh yeah,
because
he was.
they think of him as Data and they just don't connect that other character at all.
Yeah. He was
McKenna Grace, who played the Phoebe in Ghostbusters Afterlife, is a really good actress.
The only reason I watched Night Cop was because of Star Trek. Because I heard Brent Spiner was in it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll watch it because of Brent Spiner." Then,
Yeah, Brent Spiner was also in the animated series Disney's Gargoyles. Brent
Yeah.
Spiner did the voice for Puck, and he was
Puck,
great
yeah.
in that too.
Oh yes,
And actually, that's kind of funny because by the run of that show, they had most
Every
of the
single
core
Star Trek.
cast from the Next Generation in there.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes was
Yeah, well, they
voice
started
actor in
out
there,
with
too.
Jonathan Frakes being the main villain. So it's
Yeah.
like every time they were introducing a new character, Jonathan Frakes called in somebody he'd worked with on Star Trek to read for
Yeah.
the role.
Yeah, Michael Dorn was one of the first ones that he called in. Then he called in Marina Sirtis. He ended up calling in Brent Spiner for Puck. And then,
Patrick Stewart showed up in there.
Yep, Patrick Stewart did show up for a couple episodes. Not very many.
Yeah, he
Rick
was a
Hudson was
character
the-
that was only in a few episodes.
Yeah, Gargoyles was a good cartoon.
Oh,
Oh, it was an
Gargoyle-
excellent one. It was one I was taping every day while I was at work, so I could
Me
watch
too.
the whole thing.
Me too. I will not lie. I did the same exact thing. I taped
And
it while I was at work.
It was one of the things that my fiance, kind of scoffed at because it was a Disney cartoon. And she sat and watched a couple of episodes with me, and she really started getting into it.
Darkwing Duck was another one of those. Another really good Disney cartoon.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck is one that I've been watching late at night on Disney when I'm winding down.
I
Darkwing
vaguely
Duck was
remember
excellent.
Darkwing Duck. I don't think I ever watched many of them. No.
used to-
Darkwing Duck was basically a parody of all the 70s
Yeah.
superhero cartoons.
X-Men. No, there was an X-Men parody in there. There was a Spider-Man parody in there. There was definite
Yeah, he definitely borrows heavily from
Batman.
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, especially the when he gets the 6 arms. Oh god.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Just
Yeah,
how-
he definitely borrows heavily from the
hilarious.
classic Spider-Man and the classic Batman.
yeah,
Can't
Spider-Man and
be.
Batman.
See,
Yeah.
I still think probably the one that was probably the greatest parody comic book, or it was a parody of other comic books, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. People
Yeah.
don't even realize that, but if you read the early ones, they were just parodies of like Daredevil comics.
Yeah, so the chemicals that cause Daredevil to go blind are the same stuff that mutated the turtles.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, it just took on a life of its own. But I've got like some reprints of the originals comic. Sorry, I accidentally muted myself. Yeah, they were pretty dark in a sort of way. There was humor in them, but they were pretty dark.
But then
Well,
they
yeah,
kinda
when they
took away
started
from
off,
him.
they were much more of the darker graphic novel than they were the comics that they became.
If you like them, you might want to check out The Last Ronin.
I love the fact that Deadpool is a play on Deathstroke, and then DC did another parody on Deathpool called Red Tool, and Red Tool is in the Harley Quinn comics as one of her groupies.
Yeah, I remember that character. Yeah, he's
Red Tool is
red.
he has the
Doesn't he like? He's got a thing. Is he the one who's got a thing about Harley Quinn, even though she like repeatedly tortures and kills him? And like
yeah.
he doesn't.
No,
he
there's
never
this-
learns his lesson though.
There's this one point in the comic where he blows his own right hand off, gets sent to the hospital, and the only other right hand they could find was that of a pedophile. So he has the
God,
right
yeah.
hand of a pedophile, a dead pedophile stuck on his arm. Like what? That DC, they just don't give a shit.
Yeah, so that's one of
Well, they
those.
used to
Does
not
the
give a
evil
shit.
lie in the mind or the flesh?
No, the best scene in any DC cartoon though was Lex Luthor whenever he took over the Flash's body, took off the mask. He's like, I wonder who this is.
Oh yeah, that was
He
good.
looks in the mirror. I have no idea who this is.
Mm.
Yeah, that the Justice League Unlimited. That's
Yeah.
those were good cartoons.
That was just like,
But
he's like,
fastest
I
man
wonder who
alive.
this is. Like,
That's what you
I
get.
wonder who this is. I have no idea who this is. That is my favorite scene in any Justice League cartoon. No, I'm a huge DC fangirl. I'm just ask me anything DC, I could probably tell you.
That was actually
Probably.
Yeah,
that's.
I
that's
never
what
much
actually-
followed DC. I followed the Marvel comics, but that was more in the 80s and 90s. So
I-
it's like, now the stuff that's in the movies, I'm like, are these the same characters?
See, the sad thing is, when I was a kid growing up, my parents forbade me from reading comics because, quote unquote, false idols. And so when they passed away, guess what the fuck I did? I started
Yeah.
fucking reading DC comics. like
It,
a
it is
bitch.
very clear that when I was growing up, nobody paid any attention to what I was reading or watching on TV.
Because
Because my prime example is that somebody should have noticed that it wasn't appropriate for a 10-year-old to be watching Monty Python alone.
oh god,
Yeah.
no. The funny thing is, my dad would watch porn with me in the same room when I was like 10 years old.
I just
I'm in the same room. 10 years
I
watching porn.
mourn. So I love you mentioned Monty Python. I love Monty Python, and I just mourn for seeing how John Cleese has turned out in his old age.
Yeah, well,
John
that
Cleese is awesome.
again, that's one of separating the artist from the art. There, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be hosting a show on GB News next year, which is like Britain's equivalent of Fox.
Yeah,
You know?
I loved Monty Python and I loved Faulty Towers, and
Mm.
it's like I really have to separate that who he is now has to be a different person.
Yeah.
What's wrong with John Cleese?
He's a big backer, J.K. Rowling.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Actually, I had looked up.
And I just saw today. I couldn't believe this was in the election that's coming up in Sheffield. The Green Party is putting up a TERF as a candidate against a very well-known trans woman who's running for public office in Britain, which is of course Eddie Izzard, and the Green Party is putting like a gender critical TERF up as their candidate.
Yeah, I remember I was looking at J.K. Rowling's post on why she's against trans people and all that, and she had the 3 or 4 or 5 reasons listed, and most of them were just wrong. I could write off as just being ignorant of the situation. And one of them came across as actually truly transphobic, as far as I can. Anyway, I caught it.
But no, did any of you seriously though? Did any of you watch the TV show Andromeda?
I watched that. Yeah.
Do you know many of the scenes where he kisses the AI computer woman, or was it the other woman that he kissed?
I tried to watch it. I didn't get into it.
I didn't see all of them.
Well, there are many scenes where he has to kiss a female co-star, basically.
Mm.
And I found out that he actually forced those scenes, as in the female co-star did not want to do them.
Oh,
but he forced her. But he forced her to do it, to kiss him on set. And he quite routinely grabbed her ass and smacked her on the ass, and while they were on set. And I'm like,
yeah,
seriously?
Nobody should have to put up with that.
And all this came out like years and years and years after Andromeda had aired.
Well, that's one more reason to not like him.
Yeah, he's a fucking pig. He's seriously a pig. To the nth degree. I mean, I liked Andromeda, but now whenever I see those scenes, it's like just no.
I vaguely recall watching a few episodes, but I guess it never really caught me. I didn't stay with it.
It's basically Hercules in space because he plays the same goddamn character.
Yeah.
I'm looking up
screenshots. So basically, Kevin Sorbo plays Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo plays Kevin Sorbo because that's the only character he knows how to play is Kevin Sorbo.
I'm looking up screenshots from Andromeda of kissing scenes. Looks like he kissed about every one of the female cast in there.
Yeah, he did.
At least once.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Except for
he kissed
her too. Never mind, he kissed her too, even though she fucking.
I got to admit,
the character hated the character.
I've always got.
Go ahead.
I've always loved the little. I mean, she hasn't done it for a little while, but I always loved the little digs Lucy Lawless would take at Kevin Sorbo on Twitter. I know she's done that for a
Oh
little.
God, yes.
I mean, one of my favourite one was when I forget the name. There was the actress who got fired from The Mandalorian, and there was this big thing going on Twitter. Like, there's this big thing going on Twitter for Lucy Lawless to replace her, and Lucy Lawless tweeted, "I really appreciate everybody supporting me, but I've got to be honest. I was really, really, really hoping for a part in the next God's Not Dead film." Like sarcastic.
I gotta say though, I loved her in when she came back in the Army of Darkness TV series. Sorry about that. I smacked my.
I quite liked her in Battle. I quite liked her in Battlestar Galactica because she got a role at the sort of recurring role in that.
She was good in that too, yeah. But no, she was really, really good in the Army of Darkness TV series. Like fucking amazing. She was amazeballs in that.
I like that. The one that was quite funny was it that Euro trip when she's playing the Dutch dominatrix. That was funny as anything.
Oh God,
that was so funny.
Lucy Lawless is a great actress. She really is.
Yeah.
I actually had a character back in the day that I played on it was a RPG forum type deal on the internet. And I called her Lucy Paulus. Furry character. Yeah, I named her Lucy Paulus. Because I was a huge Xena fan back in the day.
I haven't seen those memes where I found Balrog in the candy. Check your kid's candy thing. I'm surprised someone hasn't done one. I found heroines in the kids' candy and have like Lucy Lawless or like Wonder Woman on inside there.
Yeah, that sounds like one of Kate's jokes.
Yeah, that's
heroin.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, this whole thing of people putting drugs in the Halloween candy makes no sense.
Drugs
the people who say this obviously have no clue how expensive that shit is.
Yeah.
And what would be the point of giving it to a random kid if they're not even going to watch them, weird out on it?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, maybe if you're a dealer or something, it's giving away free samples for future marketing, I don't know.
That strategy doesn't help if the kid didn't know where they got it from.
Yeah.
That and the dosage that people are claiming would probably kill the kid. You can't extract money from a dead kid. They kind of have to grow up in order to get addicted to it. They kind of actually have to,
I don't know. I think some of the I don't know. See, I think some of the old sneak in a couple of the old cannabis gummy bear kind of things or whatever. Parents would be quite happy because the kids would be like completely monged out for the evening.
Yeah, really. Really. Yeah. No, well, they would eat all their candy for one. They would definitely eat all the candy, and then they would just go the fuck to sleep.
I definitely would eat all the candy, yeah.
Because I know whenever I get high, first thing I do, hit the fridge. That's why I say marijuana is a gateway drug to the fridge. That's it.
Hey, Sloth Girl, what do you think of that? Maybe we should get you cannabis gummies as an appetite stimulant.
They do that. That's the reason. That is the entire reason why cancer patients get prescribed marijuana.
Yeah, well, that's part of her problem. That going through chemo, she's losing her sense of taste, so no food seems appealing.
Mm.
And the doctor's actually alarmed by how fast she's losing weight.
That's not good.
If she just smokes a lot of pot, that'd help. That would help. Smoking weed would definitely help.
Well, we can't smoke in the building, and unfortunately, now, just a couple of months ago, Minnesota finally approved the Delta 9 gummies that have some THC.
Do you have any? Do you happen to have any
Hello, Skits. Thank you for the
any vape shops near you?
I've heard there are some around. I don't know where they are. I'd have to
If
do some research.
if you find some vape shops, usually vape shops will carry either the gummies or they'll carry cookies with THC in it, and the cookies are much better than the gummies. The cookies, oh my god, they are so fucking good. The cookies.
Okay.
Well, our
oh,
government.
oh god,
I mean, the
love
people in our gut. The people in our gut. This is one area where America is a little more progressive in the UK is on like cannabis, because our government they're talking about upping cannabis to a blooming Class A drug again, which is ridiculous.
Well, it's a Class 1 drug right now in the U.S., and Class 1 is reserved solely for stuff like methamphetamines, heroin, really, 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 really hard
That's what
shit.
I mean.
Although
That's
Biden,
what I mean. It's like
Biden, yes, is trying to do something about it.
Biden is trying to get it reclassified to a lower drug class.
Yeah, or get it completely struck off.
Yeah,
that's also an option.
I saw the thing where he was on about like issuing like blanket pardons or whatever for all these people who've been locked up for like possession and stuff, which is just And it's like now our government wants to go like the other way, right by back into locking up.
But honestly, I think this entire
users, which is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, you only have to look at what at the United States to see what a totally self-defeating policy it is.
You're roboting really, 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 really badly.
The thing with Biden and this whole looking into it, he could take it off the Schedule 1 drug list through executive order.
What, me?
Yeah. Well, I think.
Yeah, you were roboting.
Me.
You were roboting really, really bad.
Yeah, Jeff, you were dropping out a lot of words.
Like 90% of what you said we couldn't hear.
Yeah, it was hard to piece your sentences back together.
But yeah, what I was saying was, though, with Biden, what he's doing now, I think he could have done this back when he was first elected. I think he's doing it right now just for the votes, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think half of it he does honestly want to progress the country, but the other half, he's trying to get votes.
Well, regardless of reason why he's doing it, I'll be glad if he does it.
I'm glad he's doing it. I'm glad as hell he's doing it.
There is no question that anything any politician is doing this month or in the last couple of months is to try and get more people from their party elected to Congress.
Yeah, which is a good thing. I mean, it is a good thing. But at the same time, Republicans are using that as ammo, basically. Saying, oh, they're buying votes. I'm like, no, they're doing popular things in order for people to vote for them. That's not buying votes. That's actually doing stuff that is popular and that people want.
As opposed to the Republicans who are pandering to their lowest level because they know that's their base for votes.
How do I...
I don't care if he's buying votes or not. If he's doing something
How do I sound now?
Good.
Better.
Right now.
Better. Yeah, it doesn't matter that he is trying to get more people to vote for Democrats. That's fine. Keep on doing, good shit that's actually popular that people actually want, instead of the same bullshit that the Republicans try, which is pandering to their hate base, basically.
Honestly, I think the best thing that Biden could do before the midterm election is to announce that he's retiring at the end of his term and will not seek re-election.
Yeah,
no, seriously,
yes,
I think that would be the biggest boost he could give to the Democrats.
Yeah, it would be. Honestly, it would. And I actually think he probably might actually do that.
Well, he better do it soon if he wants it to help the elections only in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, true. I was talking about like the 2024 elections, but yeah.
Yeah, well, right now.
Yeah, but he should be announcing that now.
Yeah. If the Republicans
true.
get control of the Senate again, we may not be able to have an election anymore.
Yeah. They are kind of fashy, aren't they?
Well, if that's
Yeah.
the concern, that's just going to be a matter of time then.
Well, the Republicans have made it clear that they want to pass all sorts of voter suppression laws.
Oh, Carroll said he'd already said he would not run a second term.
Oh, I missed that announcement then. I wasn't aware he had
me
said
see.
anything publicly on the subject.
Second term. Biden says it remains to be seen if he will run for second term. If Biden doesn't run.
It remains to be
Yeah,
seen.
that's
Is a
what
bit
I thought,
vague.
Rick.
That's vague.
Yeah, that's anything I'd seen of him in an interview. He seemed to be avoiding the question.
Look, my intention, as I said to begin with, is that I would run again, but it's just an intention. But is it a firm decision that I run again? That remains to be seen. That was his exact words. That doesn't sound like he's saying that he won't run. It's like that's basically him saying, "Yeah, I'm probably going to run."
Yeah, well,
Much too early to make that kind of decision. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
If the Democrats really want a solid win and they really want a good chance for 2024, obviously they have to reach to the left and they have to reach to younger voters.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
they
yeah,
don't know. They can't seem to figure that out.
yeah, so pushing a candidate who's, nearly 80 for president is not really going to get to the voters that they need in order to get a solid win.
When he was campaigning, said he will only do one term. Okay. Huh. I didn't know that. I didn't hear that. Huh.
Yeah,
I need to-
again, I must have missed that, but it does seem that in recent interviews he's evading the question.
Yeah. Well, he shouldn't. Well, he really shouldn't evade the question. and
Yeah,
just
he should be
say it.
definitive on it one way or the other. Leaving
Yeah.
people guessing is the worst thing.
That is literally the worst thing you could do. Like literally.
At the end of the day, look, the Democrats really. I mean, the Democrats screwed up so badly in 2016 when they put Blooming Hillary on the card instead of Bernie. They really,
They did.
and now unfortunately they've lost. The Bernie's chances come
Yeah.
and gone. So
Yeah.
Well, the Democrats made the stupid assumption that if they put a woman on the ticket, all the women would vote for her regardless of who she was.
Yeah. That was.
I think they. I honestly think they did not want. I think it was more they did not
But-
want Bernie.
Oh, yeah.
Is what it was.
Oh, well, no.
That's
Yeah.
rather than anything else.
It was that too. See, because Bernie actually was not a Democrat. Bernie was an independent.
Yeah.
And the thing that really scares the Democrats is that on some critical piece of legislation, he may decide to do the right thing instead of pulling the party line.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, this is a similar thing that happened to poor Jeremy Corbyn in Britain with with his own, basically his own party, just trying to cut his legs out from underneath him. When I say his own party, I mean the Parliamentary Labour Party, the actual members of Parliament. They absolutely cut his legs out from underneath him every chance they possibly could.
Though I will say this, and
They would have sooner have lost badly like they did than win with him at the helm.
I
will
think
say-
that's what 2016 proved with the Democrats, that they were more concerned with preserving the status quo than they were with winning the election.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest. Bernie infused a lot of people. Crikey, he drew like 10,000 people to a rally in Alabama, for goodness sake. I mean, can you think of anyone else on a Democratic ticket drawing that kind of? So there was a real thirst for something different in America.
Yeah.
And
Still is.
I have no doubt in my mind, had the Democrats put him up as candidate in 2016, he would have wiped the bloody floor with Donald Trump.
Yeah, he would
Yeah,
have.
Because
definitely.
Bernie is the first true progressive we've seen on the national stage for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
And I
the reason why
gotta
they
say-
try to suppress him.
I've got to say this though. Trump did one thing right. He got people to vote to vote him out of office. He did. he did get people to get off their ass and vote because they didn't
Yeah.
want him in there anymore.
Well,
Well,
it was a combination of Trump and them making mail-in voting so much easier.
Yeah, that too. But
Well, it's the
mostly
fact-
it was him. Mostly
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
him being
See, this is what could happen, and
such
it's what
terrible
this
person.
is what could happen the next time we have an election, because like the main opposition guy is absolutely useless, yet he is so far ahead in the polls because the Conservative government is just absolutely destroyed its credibility. But someone made the analogy, and I think this is a bit like I could say the same analogy about Joe Biden. Probably this is the equivalent of winning MasterChef with a fucking pot noodle, and that's Joe Biden and Keir Starmer in a nutshell. Is that a reference that's lost on people?
I guess it's kind of lost on Americans, at least.
Yeah.
Well, pot noodle's one of those kind of noodle type snacks. Where you just pour hot water in it and stir it or
it's
whatever,
called
that
cup
kind of
noodle
thing.
here.
Yeah, okay. And you win. Let's just say, yeah, you win a. I mean, big MasterChef's like a big, like it's pretty self-explanatory, but that is, but.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
yeah.
I was thinking of wrapping it up here. We've been a little over 2 hours going.
All right.
Well, I got to get up early. Picket line tomorrow.
Okay, you got anything else going on? Anything for your channel coming up?
Do you know, I haven't been doing a lot of my. I'm going to try and get back into doing stuff on my channel. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know whether to take. I do not know whether to take Isaiah up on this latest debate challenge or not. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, the last debate he was in with someone else in the community, he lost so badly that I just feel like it wouldn't be sport anymore. But so I don't know. Maybe I'll take him up on that. I don't know. But I will be. This isn't a plug for me, but I'm going to plug a friend's channel. One Ring is active again, doing media musings, which I am a co-host on every Sunday. So go and check One Ring out.
Okay, Zoomy, you got anything happening? Showing up anywhere soon?
Not really. Not right now. I will be debuting pretty soon on Twitch within next month, probably, because I just got someone to commission some artwork for me. But that'll be a little bit off. So I'll have to wait on that.
Okay. Well, Mage, I know you're still busy with cleaning up from the storm.
Yeah. My next upload will probably be on Halloween or somewhere around that time. I want to take off the rest of this week just to enjoy the celebrating my birthday, and then I'll be working on basically cleaning up for the next couple of weeks for after that.
Yeah, well, celebrating that after the storm, you're still having birthdays.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, well, and I, of course, will be back here again tomorrow night at 10 and be with the Shills Saturday at 6 Central Time. And with that, we will see you all next week. So, I almost did it. Almost forgot to thank all of my supporters here. Appreciate Ox has been here, and Ox and Robert X being my self-appointed moderators for the channel. Kitty, who we haven't seen much, I should have given a little update that she's doing okay. She really hasn't been online since the storm, but that's just because she's busy taking care of her family. So she's just pretty much been too exhausted to be doing anything social, but she's doing all right. Lavender Lady, Diana. I just heard that Bub drove up to her today, so he's picking her up from the hospital and bringing her home today. We've been kind of worried about her since, she went silent last Thursday, and it took us a couple of days to find her. But so she's doing better now, and she'll be heading home today. Greg Hartwick, I think he's still with us in the side chat, who has always been generous to everyone in the community. Just a wonderful person.
Yes, and thanks again for the gift.
And Dog and Vonrek. And of course, Skits Crasher has still continued to be my largest contributor as far as sending me money every month. So, I appreciate all of you helping me keeping things running and paying the internet bill for me. Okay, so with that, we will see you all tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
Bye.